I needed the extra cash for my classes, so I took the overnight shift at my local library. It started like any other shift. 5 p.m., the usual rush of college students from the nearby university, and some homeless people reading the newspaper. By midnight, it was dead. Just me, the ambient hum of the fluorescent lights, and the sound of occasional cars passing outside. Round 2 a.m., sitting at the periodical desk, the exhaustion hit me. I must have dozed off, because the dream was immediate and terrifyingly vivid. I was standing outside a tall, glass-fronted bar. I don't know where it was, but it was packed. Suddenly, a massive fire erupted on one of the middle floors. I watched frozen as the silhouettes of people panicked. They were all screaming, but I couldn't hear a single sound. It was like watching a silent movie. A glass elevator, crammed with people, detached from its cables and plummeted, hitting the lobby with a force I could feel in my chest. Then people started falling from the balconies and the terrace. They didn't jump, they just fell. They hit the pavement like rocks, their bodies remaining rigid. As they kept falling, one after another, their bodies piled up. I couldn't move, forced to just watch as the pile grew into a mountain of broken bodies. I jerked awake, my heart hammering. My neck ached. I was still at the library desk. The relief was so intense I almost laughed. Just a nightmare, I muttered, rubbing my eyes. I decided to get up and walk around, finish sorting the returns to stay awake. That's when I saw it in my peripheral vision. A figure, standing in the stacks. All black, like a shadow that had peeled itself off the wall. I thought my eyes were just playing tricks on me, still hazy from the dream. I brushed it off and went back to the desk, deciding to just rest my head for a minute. That's when the second dream started. Or at least, what I thought was a dream. I was awake, but I couldn't move. The shadow figure walked out of the stacks and slowly approached me. This time, I saw it vividly. It had glowing, grimacing red eyes and a twisted smile that stretched impossibly wide, filled with long, sharp yellowish teeth. Its neck was elongated, bending like a giraffe's, and its body was covered in some thick liquid, like a mixture of fresh blood, tar and blood. It walked toward me slowly. I was completely frozen, screaming inside my own head. All I could do was shut my eyes tight. The next thing I knew, I felt its foul breath on my face. I opened my eyes. Its face was inches from mine. It let out a shriek so high-pitched and piercing that my vision blurred, and everything went black. I woke up slumped in the same position I was in before I dozed off. The morning sun was streaming through the high windows. It was 6 o'clock in. I felt hollowed out, but relieved. It was just a nightmare, layered on top of another one, the product of stress and exhaustion. I packed my bag, clocked out, and headed for the door. The security guard was waiting for me. He usually just waves, but today he had this pale, horrifying look on his face. "Hey," I said, my voice hoarse. "Can you come to the office?" he asked. He didn't wait for an answer. He escorted me to the small maintenance room and set me in front of the CCTV monitors. "I was doing my nightly review," he said, his voice shaky. "I have to ask, what were you doing last night?" Confused, I just stared at him. He hit play. He fast-forwarded to around 3 a.m., right after I'd woken up from the bar fire dream. The footage showed me standing up from the periodical desk and walking to the history aisle. But it wasn't me. Not really. I was just standing there, staring at a wall for almost an hour. Then, in one abrupt and natural motion, my head turned 180 degrees to look directly at the camera. My eyes were glowing bright red in the night vision feed, and the camera clearly captured a wide, grimacing smile. I felt the blood drain from my face. I was about to be sick. I was asleep. I was dreaming. "I know," Frank said quietly, not looking at me. "That's not the part that scared me." He rewound the tape to 2:15 a.m., right when I thought I was having the first dream, the one about the bar fire. On the screen, I wasn't asleep. I was sitting at the front desk, perfectly still. I had taken a stack of overdue notice slips and a red pen from the cup. For 45 solid minutes, I was drawing. Frank zoomed the camera in as tight as it would go. It was greedy, but unmistakable. I had drawn the bar, the glass elevator, broken on the ground floor, the figures frozen and rigid, falling from the terrace. And at the bottom, sketched with frantic, overlapping lines, was the mountain of bodies. I'd never worked a night shift again, but I can't get the images out of my head. Every single morning, I grab my phone, my hand shaking, and I search the news, dreading the day I see that drawing in a photograph.